Howdy, Desert Boy here. You know, we had talked about some of the lever action options for being out, maybe in the field, wanting one that can take on about anything. And I showed you my 45-70 Henry rifle. And sometimes people may say, well, that's a bit more than what I want. I want something that can probably stop a black bear, or, other dangerous game, but I could also hunt deer with it, and I can maybe get a little more range out of it, and maybe even a little more capacity. So, or I might want it where I can shoot, download it, and shoot something different that's maybe not quite as powerful, So, and then I might want it compatible with a firearm, because getting a BFR 45-70 revolver is a kind of as your sidearm, that's kind of a heavy carry. It again probably weighs a 50 some odd ounces, man, almost 60 ounces. They usually got 7.5 or 10-inch barrels, so not very practical for being in the field, really. Unless you're just specifically hunting with it, and you're going to be in a particular place. It's not really best probably as a backup, but not that it couldn't do the job if you can get it out, but that's the trick, and you have to be able to hit something with it. So, maybe you want something with quite a bit of power. Well, here's something that has quite a bit of power. I think you can see it's got a nice octagon stainless steel barrel. It's a side gate loader. Nice butt pad. Yes, it's empty. This is a Rossi R92 44 Magnum. These are made in Brazil. They make them in Brazil, and they're a nice gun. This particular one, because it's a 24-inch rifle, has a 12-round capacity, right? So that may be something that you desire to have. You could take something like this Winchester here, 240 grain, 44 Remington mag, 44 mag. Jacketed soft point, probably be good for deer, I think it says in this case, or black bear. You probably want something that was, like a heavy outdoorsman hard cast if you were going after, larger game like a grizzly bear or a moose or something like that, that definitely had more punch to it and more mass. But nice gun, it's about 7.5 pounds. It's 42.5 inches long. That's pretty long. Like I said, 12 rounds, length of pull, and these R92s is about 12.5 inches, so it's kind of nice. They're kind of maneuverable. Has the standard, bead and semi-buckhorn sights, right? Nice looking gun overall. Pretty well made, And you could carry a 44 Magnum, sidearm if you wanted to. You might want to carry something that's not quite as heavy on recoil, because some people may not shoot a 44 Magnum handgun as well. Now I happen to have a Rossi M720, and you can see it's unloaded. It's a 5-round gun in 44 special. It has a red ramp front sight. It's a little bit lighter. It's more like in the, I think it's about 27 ounces. So, shooting standard 44 special self-defense loads is okay. Now, I haven't shot any of these, but I did pick up these Buffalo Boar, right? Buffalo Boar, and I can tell you they were expensive. And this is the heavy 44 special outdoorsman. Hey, you could probably shoot the 44 special outdoorsman in this rifle, I would imagine, since it should shoot 44 special, I would imagine, as well as 44 Magnum, but I haven't tried it, so I have to try that and see if that works, but we do know it will shoot 44 Magnum. This will shoot only 44 special. It should shoot something like this. I don't think I'd shoot a lot of rounds of that through here, but it would be a way to have a decent hard cast semi-wad cutter Keith gas check 1,000 foot per second 565 pound hard cast bullet as a last resort protection out of here in 44 Special. But that's what that's kind of one of my thoughts for me. You know, you have to make your own decisions about that. And you want to follow your local, state, and federal firearms laws, hunting rules, and all that. You know, this has like a 12-round capacity. You got to know that's okay. And, you know, maybe you need a 4-inch barrel on a revolver if you're going to do any hunting with it other than protecting your life. And you'd have to, you know, make those decisions yourself. You want to be compliant with all those things. But, you know, just a thought. Maybe you don't want to do that 45-70 recoil. Maybe you can handle a 44 Magnum. I will tell you, when you shoot a 44 Magnum out of this, there is some recoil. You know, even though it's you know, it's got a 24-inch barrel and all that. 44 Magnum is a stout round. And, you know, this, oddly, you know, the 44 Specials, and these, like, I think these were 160 grain, or I think it was 180 or 200 grain. The self-defense ammo's smaller. This guy here, you know, these outdoorsman type one, that's 255 grains. You're not going to want to enjoy shooting too many of those in this gun, I would imagine. So, but anyway, just some other thoughts on, you know, kind of having, you might want to have a regular 44 Magnum revolver with you, because you can't shoot Magnums in the revolver. But you'd have your 44 Magnum rifle, which should be able to, most people don't have grizzly bears or moose to deal with. And so it probably would do in a lot of cases. And it's got 12 rounds. It's kind of nice. Shoots very well, by the way. So just a thought. Just wanted to share that with you. I bought it because when I bought the 357, they happened to have a 44 Magnum. And I said, well, I'm moving to Montana. I might as well just go ahead and get that too. And the price was right. And I got both rifles. And so then that, you know, it gave me, you know, 238, 357 ones, which we, you know, I have in another video. One's a carbine, one's a rifle. It gave me a 44 Magnum. It gave me I had a 45-70, you know, and then I had also my 22 rifle as a lever action, and my 45 Colt, which I don't have my 45 Colt right now. It's at the gunsmith being looked at, as well as my 270. So those are my other rifles that I have, and that I like to use. But the 45 Colt can also be loaded up, you know, and used as a you know, if it's a properly rated modern firearm, you can hunt with those as well. Maybe a little bit even less recoil than this 44 Magnum. So, and you can get a 45 Colt revolver that can, you know, be your matching sidearm if you like. So that's a big advantage to the pistol caliber carbines. So, as Ray Desert Boy always says, be safe out there, whatever you're doing. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Bye now.